So I first read Wuthering Heights back in school, and since then I've seen umpteen versions of this story of forbidden love, a classic of a literary romance, so they say. But I've never seen one that looks quite like the new version that's hitting theaters just in time for Valentine's Day. Hey everybody, I'm Sean McBride, the movie guy, and today let's talk about Wuthering Heights.
What should you do, Heathcliff? If you were rich?
Suppose I'd do what all rich men do. Live in a big house. And be cruel to my servants. Take a wife.
A wife? What wife?
Heathcliff, you're not enough. Not for her.
In Emily Bronte's literary classic Wuthering Heights, Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi played the classic lovers Catherine and Heathcliff. She comes from a well-bred situation while he's just the boy who was taken in by her family, so they grow up and develop romantic feelings for each other, but because of their mismatched social status, they can never be together. So if you've read the book, you probably know where this story is actually going, but if you've only ever seen the movies, you'd be forgiven for thinking it's a story of grand passions and unrequited love. At least that's what the marketers really want you to believe, because it's coming out on Valentine's Day, perfect for a date night with your sweetie. Back to the story. So Kathy confesses to her companion, who's played by Hong Chow, that she can't ever marry Heathcliff, and Heathcliff hears this, and so he runs away. Now Catherine feels abandoned, so she agrees to marry her rich neighbor, Edgar, but then Heathcliff returns, and now he's rich as well, but it's too late. So he's going to have to settle for Edgar's sister Isabella, despite his still smoldering feelings for Catherine. So did you catch all that? Listen, this is a story of love and longing and, a romance that can never be. That stuff is definitely here. But be aware that it's also a story of jealousy and vindictiveness. I mean, a lot of ugly stuff. Now, granted, we're getting told the story through the guise of two gorgeous actors in the form of Jacob Elordi and Margot Robbie. And look, there is a lot of sexy stuff here. But the love story is so ugly and manipulative. I mean, like I said, that's how it actually is in the book. But over the years, it's been turned into a story about this grand love story. And the truth is far uglier. It's petty people destroying each other out of jealousy. And that makes it kind of difficult to buy into the sexual content of this movie. It's frequently manipulative and honestly kind of gross. And sure, I think there's enough surface level sizzle that it will appeal to some audiences, but most grown-ups definitely should, see this as being quite problematic. Now, I do think that the film has some visually stunning moments. Lots of stark English North Country vistas, old farmsteads, gorgeous gowns, and of course Jacob Elordi's abs. The costumes, set design, and cinematography are purposely anachronistic, so it doesn't really feel like a period piece, but the images are very striking. That's far and away the best reason to see this movie. So look, as much as I enjoyed the visuals here, and those visuals are great, my biggest disappointment comes in the direction. It's directed by Emerald Fennell. She is a filmmaker who has not been afraid to tackle sexual subjects in her movies, and I was curious to see how a woman would treat this. Maybe she put a new modern twist on it. And I just didn't think she gave anything like that. I mean, it's just kind of a classic retelling of the story, or at least the first half of the story, because that's all that's going on here. And I just was expecting more from her. And it's kind of the same thing with Charlie XCS's music. She has a couple songs that added to this here, and I think they're fine. But I think if you don't have a director that's making a strong point of view, then Charlie XCS's music doesn't really hit in the way that it might have if there was something that this film was trying to say. So the bottom line for me is that, look, I do think the acting is pretty good. I did like Elordi and Robbie. I don't like their characters, but I did like their performances. The film, I think, is stunning visually, but it doesn't have a point of view, and it doesn't take any new point of view on the material. So the film just ended up being a bit of a dud for me. And quite frankly, I thought it dragged. It was a little overlong. I do not think this is a great Valentine's date night movie. I give Wuthering Heights 2.5 stars out of 4. So look, I completely admit that half the battle in making a romance like this is getting two hot actors and having them get together, and obviously very hot actors in the form of Margot Robbie and Jacob Elordi. And so I suspect between their visual images and then the sexual stuff in this, I think audiences will certainly get hot and steamy for this movie. I was just turned off by the ugliness of it and then the disappointment over what Fennell didn't do, what I had hoped she would do with this movie. But hey, that's me. What did you think? Did you go see it? Was it a good date night for you, or were you disappointed as well? Comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel so you can get all of my movie reviews just as soon as they drop. And of course, check out the podcast. It's called Two Movie Guys. Every week, my friend Joe Fryer and I get together and we chat about all the week's big new movies. Just search for Two Movie Guys wherever you get your podcasts. Okay, there are a lot of movies out this week, and next up we're going to talk about an adult crime thriller that I thought was actually pretty good. We'll be talking about Crime 101 with Chris Hemsworth coming up next. See you then.